Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Wisdom Wednesday for this week. So, remember, this is just our generalized spiritual discussion for the week. And the way that the spiritual topic is chosen is I just tune in and I just see what is the energy that we're working with, and then what tool or what process can I give to you that's going to help you to work with the energy that we are currently working with. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for just participating. I always appreciate it. And so with today's topic, being present in the presence, this was chosen because this week, that's really what we are asked to do. We are asked to be present in the presence of, now you can call it your higher power, you can call it love, you can call it joy, you can call it compassion, you can call it your inner being, you can call it source, you can call it the universe, you can call it God, whatever it is that you want to ascribe a label for your higher power, that is what we are to be present in for this week. That's what we're really asked to do, is to be present in the presence of love. And what does that really mean? What does that even look like? And so when we are asked to be present in the presence of love, when we're asked to be present in the presence of our source, what it's asking us to do is we are being asked to step away from our ego perception, because the ego perception of the world we see makes us victims. The ego perception of the world that we see makes us very fearful. The ego perception of the world is actually all based on the past, a good majority of the time. And if it's not based in the past, then it's based in the future. So the ego perception of time is never present. It's always saying, look over to the past or look over to the future. It's never saying, let's be here. Let's be now. That's never what it says. And so to be present in the presence, we have to start becoming really aware and discerning. Now, I use those two words, aware and discerning, because those are two very powerful words. Awareness. What does awareness really mean? Awareness simply means that you are conscious of your thoughts or your behaviors, your emotions. Okay, so there is an awareness there, a realization and acknowledgement. Then I use the word discernment. Now, the reason I use the word discernment is because discernment simply means this is for me, this is not. Where judgment, on the other hand, says this is good, this is bad. And if we're present in the presence of our source, source doesn't say this is good, this is bad. Source simply says this is for you, this is not. And so hey, thanks for joining. So when we start this process of awareness and discernment, we have to really, really step it up. And so it's about being aware of who we are thinking thoughts with, and when I say who, I simply mean, are we thinking them with ego or are we thinking them with spirit? Because like I said, spirit uses discernment. And just because something is for us, once again, it doesn't make it good or bad. It's simply, this is the vibration that we are in alignment with at this present moment. That's it. It's not good. It's not bad. It simply is. This is the isness of it. And that's how spirit discerns. It says, okay, this is for me or this is not. And you could take it in the way, I like to explain in the way of relationships. So instead of being like, okay, this person is toxic, this person is bad, regardless of what they are showing you, regardless of what their behavior may be, instead of putting a label on it and moving into judgment, we can instead just say, that's not for me. And you can do that with any relationship, because if we're really honest, we're in relationship with everything. We are in a relationship with everything, with the way we think about money, the way we think about business, the way we think about our friendships. We are in relation with everything. And so instead of labeling a relationship, this is a good relationship, this is a bad relationship, instead we can just be like, you know what? This relationship right now is for me, and this other relationship is not. That is the essence of discernment. It is not good, not bad. It's just, yes, this is for me. No, this is not. And awareness is that beautiful acknowledgement and realization of that fact. That's where we want to be. That's what being present in the presence is. It is being aware. And who am I thinking these thoughts with, or who are these thoughts coming from? Okay. And so we start that process of awareness and discernment. And at first it might seem like effort. It might seem like work. And the only reason that it seems like effort or work to be in the presence is because we are so used to saying, well, this is the thought I have, so therefore it must be real, or therefore that's all that there can be. We keep forgetting that there's really only one perceptual view. We just think that there are two. We think that there is this and that, but really there is only one, and that is the truth, and that is love. And that's, once again, where we're asked to be. We're asked to start really asking ourselves the beautiful question of, how would my source see this? How would love see this? How would my guides see this? That is a pathway, if you choose to use it, into being present in the presence. Because what you are doing, instead of going into judgment, because that's what the ego is going to do, once again, it's don't judge yourself for going into judgment. We all do it because that's the program that we've been running, because we haven't been aware. We haven't really focused our awareness. We've just kind of been like, well, there it is, bing, bang, boom, done. And what we want to start doing is we want to start focusing and being like, okay, wait a minute. When I go into this judgment, does this judgment really make me feel good? Like, me judging this, is this making me feel good? I'm going to tell you, a good majority of the time, if we think about it, it doesn't make us feel very good. Really doesn't, if we're aware and honest with ourselves. And that's another key ingredient, if you will, in being present in the presence, is being honest with yourself, telling yourself the truth about whatever situation you may find yourself in. So we first want to start with that awareness. Okay. And remember, awareness is the recognition. So hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So we start that process by simply saying, okay, who am I thinking this thought with? Does this thought feel good? Those are just two questions, and they're very simple. And it's so simple that we think it has to be more complicated, when in fact it doesn't have to be at all. It is that simple. Who am I thinking this thought with? Does this thought make me feel good? Does this thought make me feel like I'm in alignment, or however you want to put that, or not? If not, okay. Once again, the thought is not good nor bad. I can just simply decide with my discernment, okay, you know what? This thought pattern, this thought process is not for me. Spirit, once again, we're inviting spirit in. Spirit, how would you have me see this? Or spirit, what would you have me say? What would you have me do? And that's really, once again, being present in the presence. Because what you are doing is you are choosing to say, instead of my judgment, where does judgment come from? Judgment comes from the past. So instead of judging the situation based on the past, based on past learning, past experience, past knowledge, whatever you want to call it, you're saying, instead of coming from that space, I'm choosing to really be present in this moment, and I'm allowing that aspect of truth to come and inform me about this. Now, a lot of people think that when you let love inform you, that you become like this weird doormat. Love is very direct, and love will never make you be that doormat, ever. This makes sense. I try not to judge. That's beautiful, Sharon. I love it. And that's all we're doing. We're just in that attempt of saying, okay, I'm catching myself in judgment. I catch it. I'm not going to judge myself. Instead of me judging myself, I'm just learning. And as I learn, I'm able to shift more over into, the present moment with my source, where my source always is, where my source always has the answer, where my source already has the solution ready for me, instead of me going to the past and saying, well, this is what happened then, so this is bound to be what happens now. Guess what? When you do that, you get to bring that whole bag of the past with you. And what are you going to get? You're going to get the past redoing itself. Maybe different players, maybe different people, but it's going to be the exact same outcome. Exact same outcome. Like I said, different players, different things, but same outcome. So if we instead choose to say, you know what, let me be present, let me be here, let me be now, let my source decide about this for me. Let my source inform me about this. Once again, it doesn't mean you're a doormat. Doesn't mean that you become an invalid. Doesn't mean that you just let people do whatever they want to you. Once again, that's not what love does. Love is direct, love is kind, and love is going to make sure that the most peaceful outcome occurs for everyone involved. We do not know what that looks like. And there's no, I could give you tons of examples of it, but the best example is your own living experience. Consider a time where you where you were like, you know what? Hey, thanks for joining. Where you were like, you know what? I don't want this anymore. Like, I'm done with it. You let go of the value for it. And, a new experience unfolded for you. And we've all had those beautiful circumstances, and it's been wonderful. It's been great. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe that, this shifted, this changed. Of course it shifted and changed because you were no longer in the old program of judgment. You are now present in the presence of the divine, which does not judge, it does discern, and it teaches us through that discernment process. This feels good. This is for me. This does not feel good, and therefore right now is not for me. It doesn't mean that in the future it won't be for me. It just means right here, right now, it's not for me. And that's the beauty of discernment, because it leaves the avenues open. It doesn't close them. Being present in the presence leaves you open to infinite opportunities that are constantly around you, constantly arranged for you, because you're not judging them as this is too good to be true or this is this. You're simply saying right now. So let's say, and this is actually something that happened to me. So, just being open to source, allowing source to use me in whatever way. And I get this random text message being like, put like a little bumper sticker on your car for like Red Bull and get $500 a week. And so, of course, I said, you know what? I was like, Spirit. As soon as I started reading it, I felt the judgments coming like this, this. And I said, hold on. Number one, let me take a breath. Okay. Number two, Spirit, I want you to decide about this for me. Okay? And then I just let it go. That was it. And then as I went throughout my day, all of a sudden, I just got to clear it. Like it was just as clear as day. No. Now, this was several hours later. It wasn't right then, right there. It was hours later. And that's another big key for being present in the presence. That, yes, Spirit can and will answer you immediately if you are open to it. But Spirit also knows what's best for you and how to get your attention the best. So maybe you need a sign, like maybe it needs to be like a physical, like angel number or a physical sign saying no. Beautiful example of that. I remember when I was working with a group of people and we were working on like group healings. And they were like, okay, Ron, like you, this person, and this person, we're all going to work together for this person. And I was like, okay, awesome, great, like, woohoo, let's do it. And then I just got this feeling and I was like, you know what? Before we do that, can I meditate on it? Like, can I pray about it? And they were like, oh, sure. And so I was like, okay, Spirit, do you want me? And this is when I was just first learning about like how to communicate with Spirit. And I really just kind of stumbled on it as I was just like, okay, Spirit, what would you have me do? What would you have me do? And then just let it go. And the beautiful thing that happened was I remember I had, I prayed about it. I had kind of went into that meditation. I went to the TV and I kid you not, there was a commercial that was literally raining the word no. I mean, raining it down. I paused that as quick as I could. I took a video of it and I was like, you can't make this shit up. I was like, unfortunately, guys, I'm just not going to be able to work with you, for this particular person. And they're like, oh, why aren't you going to do it? And I was like, this is why. And I sent them the video and they were like, oh, and I was like, yeah, they're like, Spirit's like, no, 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 no. This is the sign language for no. My sister is learning to be an interpreter. So she practices on me. So, no, but anyway, so I was like, whoa, like that was awesome. And so I really did start asking Spirit for more signs like that. I was like, I need you to hit me over the head with a 2x4. Like I need red flashing lights to be like, Ron, no. And so, but once again, it's because I was present in the moment. I wasn't searching for the sign. I simply said, Spirit, I need a sign. Spirit, I need red flashing lights. I need that at this moment. And as long as I was present in the moment, just doing what's in front of me to do. And that's another thing we all too often forget. We get so busy trying to figure out what Spirit's trying to tell us that we don't see the signs that are right in front of us. That Spirit is constantly giving to us. Because I'm sure there were plenty of other signs that I just wasn't paying attention to. And Spirit was like, okay, this is the only way we're going to get his attention. Here you go. And, just nodes falling on the screen. And I haven't seen that commercial since, but I thought it was just, once again, the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. But that's where we want to be. We want to be present in the moment. Do what's in front of us to do. So, I was asked, can you help? Can you help with this? And I was like, well, I don't know. Can I? Spirit, what would you have me do? And giving myself permission to say, can I give you an answer like in a couple of days? We don't do that. We're, in our society, we're expecting now. Why don't you have the answer now? And excuse me, we don't need to have the answer now. What we do need to do is to allow ourselves to become present in the moment. Allow ourselves to be like, you know what? I need to take a minute. And that's okay. Use that discernment. What feels good in this moment? If it feels fearfully compelling. What do I mean by fearfully compelling? It means like, let's say you have to make a call on Friday at 5:00. Okay. And this place closes at 6. So all day you are just looking at that clock. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? Constantly looking at it. And then, you are just so afraid you're going to miss it, right? You're just like, So you decide instead of calling at, 5:00 when you're supposed to, you're like, you know what? I'm going to call at 4:30. You're not doing it because you're guided to, you're doing it because you're afraid you're going to miss your window. That's fearfully compelled. Where, your ego is like, if you don't make the call, you're going to miss it and then you're not going to have time and then you're never going to get this rectified and then the whole world's going to end. It's just going to end because you didn't do this one thing that you were supposed to do. Where Spirit will be much more calming. It might be like, you know what? You might look at the clock and it might be like 4:45 and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to call. And it's that peaceful, like, you know what? I should call right now. And once again, we've all had those moments. I should just call. And we pick up the phone, we call, and then the whole thing gets rectified. And it was simple, easy. And actually, it was shorter than we anticipated because we got to talk to the exact right person. Maybe you called at 4:30 and that person wasn't there and you got sent to voicemail. It's about that discernment. It's about discerning. It's about being present in the here, present in the now, not in the then and there, or, could be or should be. Here and now. That is present. That is how we become present in the presence. We also can start that discerning process of, once again, who am I thinking this thought with right now? I have to call at 4:30. It has to be right now. Who's really like, where's that thought really coming from? Is that coming from love? Or is that coming from my ego? Remember, ego is always very loud. It's very contrite. It's basically yelling at you. And where spirit's just that very gentle nudge, like, give him a call. Like, and that's it. Give him a call. Very soft, and it will say it again, but it's not where the ego's be like, you better call, do it. Where spirit's just like, give him a call. Wait. Hey, just a reminder. Give him a call. Wait. Hey, you know what? Pick up that phone. Pick it up. Give him a call. That's kind of like where spirit does it. Very direct, but it's not yelling at you. It's not screaming at you. Where the ego is yelling, screaming, and bringing forth that fear. That's not present in the presence of love. Now, we can be present in the presence of fear, but let's really think about that. And a very good friend of mine says this to me from time to time. How's that working out for you? How's that working out, being in the presence of fear? How's that working out for you? Probably not very well. Because when we're in the presence of fear, we are running on, cortisol. We're running on, I have to get it done. We're running on survival. We're running on the past. And so we're making these rash, quick decisions because that's what fear tells us we have to do. Because if we don't make a decision right here, right now, the whole world's going to end, is what fear tells us. But if we become present in the presence of love, once again, a choice, it's always our choice. We can be like, okay, spirit, you guide me. And the steps just become so simple, so easy, so effortless. But it is about allowing spirit to do it for you and through you and inviting it in and using your discernment. And I know I keep on harping on it, but that's the key. That's the trick. You want peace, you want joy, you want happiness. Start your awareness and discernment. Start questioning your thoughts. Because we don't do that enough. We're so used to just being like, okay, well, guess this is what I should do. Instead of being like, you know what? Let me take a minute. Okay, where is this thought really coming from? Like, is this really coming from, is this spirit guided or is this more, fear guided? And if we're not sure, that's okay. We do what is in front of us to do. We're always so worried about, am I doing the right thing? Okay, so there is no right. There is no wrong. There simply is the action that you're taking. And we're always taking an action. There's always a belief, because what is a belief? A belief is a constant decision that you're making. And so we're always running off those beliefs. And so if we stop just for a minute, just for a moment, and say, wait a minute, is this true? Does this have to be true? Go with how we feel after meditation. That could be a great one. You could do it after, you could meditate and then be like, okay, what do I feel like doing, after this meditation, after this prayer session? Once again, even if it's still like, I want to call them, you do what brings up your peace and what brings down your fear. That's all. Because what is spirit's number one will for you? Spirit's will is for you to be happy. That's spirit's will. It's all spirit wants. You to be happy. You just have to stop deciding against your happiness. You have to stop deciding that you're unworthy of happiness. You have to stop that belief that you can't be happy. Because we don't even realize that belief is playing based on a lot of past beliefs that we have been told. I mean, how many of us were told money doesn't grow on trees? Well, it does actually. How many of us were told, well, life is hard, suck it up? How many of us were told that life can't be simple, that you have to work hard for everything, and all of this stuff? Like, we were all told this, and yet we never questioned it. We just were like, yeah, it is what it is. Life has to be hard. Life has to be complicated. And we've just kept those beliefs coming with us. But when we become present in the present, in the presence of love, that's when all that stuff gets dispelled. Because in the presence of love, love simply says, I want your happiness. And there is nothing that you cannot have because I have given you everything. You are worthy of everything. That's all that you are. You are worthy of everything. And you have a problem? It's okay. I have a solution ready for you in this present moment. Now, with that said, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to hear what the solution is. And you may be thinking, but Ron, you said Spirit wants me to be happy. Yeah, Spirit does want you to be happy, but Spirit also knows that you still have some beliefs that you have to do something. So it's going to give you step by step instructions. It's not going to say, here's the end goal. That's not how Spirit works. Spirit's going to say, okay, here's step one. Do step one. And I can tell you, based on my own experience in, writing both of my books, my first book, which is already published, The Intuitive's Tool Belt, I remember that I came to a block. Like I didn't know what else to write about. And I was like, okay, I guess the book is done. But I kept on feeling like there was more. I was like, I know I want to write more, but I don't know what to write about. And the reason that I didn't know what to write about is because I still had yet to get the book edited, like from the point that I was at. And, it just so happened that a friend of mine who was a nurse and also an English major had lost her job, had lots of free time, and kept on being like, Ron, if you want me to edit it, I'll edit it. Ron, if you want me to edit it, I'll edit it. And I was like, okay. And so finally I gave it to her. She edited it, brought it back to me. I made the corrections. I swear to you, the day that I finished the last correction, it was like the floodgates opened. It was like, okay, here's what you need to write about. Another great example of that. I had not finished the last chapter of The Intuitive's Tool Belt yet. And I wanted to get the illustrations done. I wanted like my front cover done, and I wanted like the little insert done. I was like, I want it done. And I had two ladies at my work at the time who were, went to Heron University, were fabulous artists. And I was like, oh my God, I want you guys to do this for me. And they were more than willing to. And I said, I'll credit you on the book, and which I did. And I remember like every day I'd be like, hey, did you bring your paints? Or hey, did you bring this? They'd be like, oh, I forgot. Last day, I finished the last word, put the period. I go to work that day because it was that night I had finished. And I go to work that day, and what do you know? Both of them brought their paints. Both of them happened to have the same lunch break that I did. Both of them just happened, like we all got to be on the same lunch break, and they both brought, their acrylics, and they both had like similar processes, and one was doing the cover, the other one was doing like a chakra picture, and it was just like amazing. We could all just sit there and talk and like, what are you looking for? How do you want this? And I was like, this is so crazy. And that's just how it works. But once again, where was I present in? I was present in the presence. Once I stopped focusing on the future, this is what I want done, and I want it done, this is how I want it, even though I wasn't done with step one. Spirit said, do step one. Then I'll clear the way for step two. All you got to do is do step one. That's it. That's all I'm asking. But we do not become present in that. We're so busy with our own agenda and our own plan that we tend to forget that. To be present in the presence means to really let go of your agenda, to let go of your plan, and really allow the divine to work for you and through you. But once again, what does that require? Awareness. And you have the ability to be aware. You have the ability to tune in. You have this beautiful gift. All of us do. I am not special. No one who can do what I do, or even greater than what I do, is special. We can all become aware. We can all come to a recognition and acknowledgement and say, wait a minute, do I want this thought? And use our discernment, become aware of the thought, acknowledge the feeling. This doesn't feel good. I don't like this. So that's my discernment. I am discerning. I don't like the way this feels. Okay. Can I change? Can I switch this thought? What could I switch this thought to? What feels a little bit better? What might feel a little more in alignment with where I want to go? Spirit, could you please, how would you see this situation? How would love see this situation? And not necessarily saying, okay, how would love see this situation in order for me to get what I want? Because once again, then what are you doing? You're playing, come on, God. You're not present in the presence anymore. Now you're simply in the future saying, actually, you are in the future and saying, tell me how to get my plan done. That's not guidance. Guidance is, this is what I would have you do in order to get the happiest, clearest, best outcome for everyone involved. So being present in the presence does require our awareness and our discernment. And it's just a matter of questioning. So I really want to give you the invitation for tomorrow, for the rest of the week. Start your acknowledgement. Start that process of saying, okay, becoming aware of your thoughts. I'm not saying you have to do it all day, because that could be really exhausting. Hi, tried it, was exhausted by the end of the day. But you can start small for an hour, for 1 hour out of your day. And if an hour seems too much, 30 minutes. If 30 minutes seems too much, 15 minutes. 15 minutes seems too much, 10. 10 seems too much, 5. 5 seems too much, 1 minute of being like, okay, I am just going to become the observer of my own mind. What are the thoughts that are going there? Let me come to the realization, let me come to that realization, that acknowledgement. As I come to that, and within that minute or that, whatever set of time you decide, start becoming discerning. Does this thought that I am currently thinking feel good? Does this make me feel good? Like really and truly, do I feel happy, joyful, elated, lighthearted, light when I think this thought, or is it a heavy thought? And you saw what I did with my body there. You can do that with your own body and just be like, ooh, as I'm thinking this thought, ooh, my shoulders are kind of hurting, or wow, that makes my shoulders feel heavy, or maybe your back starts hurting. Maybe you just like start to lean over. Pay attention. Maybe you start slouching. There you go. Slouching your shoulders because you're just like, ooh, that doesn't feel very good. And then it's just that awareness. Okay. Doesn't mean that this is, right, wrong, good, bad. This just isn't the thought for me right now. This doesn't feel good. So where can I move to? What's a thought that feels a little bit better than this one? And so let's take, for example, money. Okay? Let's take, for example, money. Because money is always something we all, struggle with in one way, shape, form, or another. And so we'll say maybe you start thinking about your finances and you're just like, whew, okay, this week we're kind of cutting it kind of close. I don't think that feels very good. Like to lack in scarcity. This doesn't mean that we're denying reality. It doesn't mean that we're saying that that's not true. We're just simply saying, I don't want to focus all my attention on that because that's not where love is. Love is not in that. That's my ego. That's my lower mind. Yeah, like that's definitely what it is. Solar plexus. Exactly. It's another place you could feel it. And so you come into that awareness and you're like, okay, how's that feeling? That's not feeling too good. How could I shift this? So what would be a thought instead of being like, ooh, things are really tight right now? You can be like, wow, let me appreciate that I have the money to pay all of my bills and maybe have $10 extra. That's not hurting anything, not hurting anybody. You're being in appreciation. You can then, or if you're just like, I don't know, like how to fix this thought. I don't know what the next thought is. That's okay. Spirit, right now, I'm having a lot of heavy thoughts about money and I don't really know what to do with them. So I'm willing to hand them over to you. And I just ask, how would you see this? What would you tell me about this? And, just really consider, what would love tell you? Do you think love would be like, you're screwed? No. Love would be like, I'll provide for you. I've got you. It's okay. And then start looking at maybe there's some beliefs coming up. Maybe there's some thoughts like, I've never had enough money. Money's really hard. Money slips through my fingers like water. Look at those thoughts that are there. Is that serving you in this moment? Is that serving you? Just a simple yes or a no. Not good, not bad. It's just, Is that serving me? No, it's not. Do I want that? No. So Spirit, let me hand this over to you and let me replace it instead with appreciation. Let me instead replace it with gratitude. Let me instead replace it with a thought that's just like one step higher than that. Even if I don't know what it is, I'm willing to be informed in this moment, not in the future, not in the past. In this moment, I am willing to be informed. Spirit, I want to be informed how you would see my finances in this moment, because the ego is going to be like, you're screwed. That's what the ego is going to say. Spirit's going to have a different answer. And if you need some help with that, once again, hand over your heart. Either you can put it over your heart chakra, you can put it over your physical heart, you can put it over the other side. You take those 3 deep breaths and you let out the ha sound on the last one. And you're like, okay, what would love say about my finances right now? My heart says, all is love. Or my heart says, all will be well. Or my heart says, trust in the divine, or miracles are happening, or I live under divine providence. I don't know what your heart will say. That's what, I don't know what love's going to say to you. Only the divine knows what love will say to you. So that's going to be my invitation for everyone this week. And I think it's really interesting because, my intention whenever I do these is always just to be of service and just to allow Spirit to use me. And I see we went a lot of different places and not just being present in the present. So I just really appreciate that I can allow Spirit to use me, and that whatever Spirit presents is always for the highest and best good of everyone involved. So I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here. If you are interested in finding out more about me or about learning about my 8 weeks of guidance course, you can go visit my website, awakeningmiracles.org. If you're interested in the workshop, the 8 weeks of guidance, you can visit www.awakeningmiracles.org/workshops. And it's the second workshop. You can find the full syllabus there, exactly what we'll be learning for the 8 weeks. And that's going to be opening at the end of April, beginning of May.